Hello, gorgeous, and a warm welcome to Accepting. I'm Aline, your host, and in this episode, we're continuing the theme of love over fear from the gorgeous episode we had with Kristos T. Perry and Foster Perry. If you haven't listened to that episode, I highly recommend you do. This week, I'm feeling into avoiding burnout as we rise from the ashes of the eclipse. So grab yourself a cup of tea, get yourself really, really cozy and comfortable, and let's dive in. Welcome to Accepting, where I guide you to accept all aspects of your beautiful self, embrace your truth, and live your life that way. Hello, gorgeous, and a warm welcome to Accepting. I'm Aline, your host, and in this episode, we're going to continue on from where we were last week. Full disclosure, I'm recording a couple of weeks in advance because I'm going to be away. And so I've been really feeling into the energy of when this recording will go out, which will be Easter week. And where it feels at the moment is we've all been through so much, and with the ending of the eclipse season and Mercury going retrograde, as I record, we're still in slight shadow of Mercury going retrograde. Today, it feels so much clearer. In these last days, I don't know if you felt this, it feels so much clearer than it has done in a very long time. And I really feel this is allowing us for April with Mercury's direct. We've got that gorgeous action energy of Aries. And with the fire horse, it's a real time to take action. And as I was feeling into that, I instantly was like, well, don't burn yourself out. Being a fire dragon, being a projector in human design, having been diagnosed, it's a label, central sensitivity syndrome, being a very highly sensitive person, an intuitive empath, a channel, etc., so forth, as I know so many of you listening are, it is so important that we go at our own pace. And so I was really feeling into, so how can we avoid burnout as we rise from the ashes of the eclipse season? So we finished the snake year, and I spoke last week, or 2 weeks ago actually now, about how I buried my snake skins, and that felt so important to take that action with the equinox because it was a real closing. And although I know we'd already started the fire horse year, that felt so important for me because it was ending the eclipse season as we had the equinox. And I shared with you before, it was very gorgeous because I had an uncrossing candle going, and I kept feeling into, well, I was told that I was told that I should be burying the snakes before the equinox. So on the day of the equinox, I said, well, the equinox is at 3:00 or something this afternoon. How's that going to work? And it was so interesting because I had made this rule for myself. I had made this agreement for myself because I'd felt that it was really important to bury these snakes with the equinox. I created this rule. And this is what I would like to talk about. It's about breaking agreements that we make with ourselves through pressure. What actually happened was I released and let go. I allowed myself to be ready. I got everything ready. And just when the candle was ready to complete, that was when we would bury the skins, because the message was really clear. I was told that as I created and I lit the uncrossing candle, I actually burnt a little bit of the snakeskin on top of the uncrossing candle as well. And the messages that I got through as I was preparing that all was the snakeskins that you've collected over the years, bury them before the equinox. So I read that as absolute verbatim, rather than feeling into, well, perhaps it's on equinox day and it's before the end of the equinox. I was like, well, the equinox is at 3:00. It has to be before 3:00. And I got myself into this real should space. And it's only when I took a breath, I released, I allowed it to happen at exactly how it's supposed to happen. It was so incredibly beautiful. The candle finished burning all the way down at exactly the moment the sun sets. So it was with dusk. So that was Hecate time, in a beautiful liminal time. It was with the snake skins as we were going from the equinox day of the day into the night. So it was just at that moment, it was that balance as we were going into night. So it happened exactly how it was supposed to happen as I let go. So I broke the agreement that that was the way it had to happen. And I've been really feeling into other agreements that, we can make throughout our lives, and they can be called limiting beliefs. So I'm really feeling that with this ending of the eclipse season, with this kind of rising like the phoenix out of the ashes, it's really important that we do so in as much as a gentle way as possible. So we're not rising like the phoenix with all of our old agreements going with us. So that's how I see the agreements. So if you like, it's limiting beliefs that we can pick up over our lifetime, because we don't arrive with limiting beliefs. We arrive with wonder and curiosity. And it's through experiences, it's through relationships, it's through our formative years, we start building our agreements, if you like, and that's based on what happens around us. And I'm not playing the blame game at all. All I'm saying is, as highly sensitive people, as empaths, as creators, as sensitives, it's very likely we had a different way of being, and it may not necessarily have been accepted as we were younger. And it can happen later on in life. It may be that you were absolutely accepted by your family and your guardians when you were younger. It was as you went out into the world, it wasn't accepted. So there's various points along our lives that we make agreements to fit in, that we make agreements to feel safe, because fundamentally, when we were growing up, when we're so sensitive, when we're feeling into what's happening in our environments, we're trying to survive. So for most of our lives, we have been in very much a survival mode. And then when we get to the point of actually, I don't want to people please anymore. This doesn't feel right for me. This doesn't feel right for me. This doesn't feel right for me. And we start making changes within ourselves. Those changes happen naturally around us. When we break the agreements and we say, actually, I'm just going to show up as exactly who I am. And I'm not here for everybody to like me. And I'm not here to like everybody. When we get to that point of looking after ourselves first, that's when we can start having the little aha moments, because we're not in a fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We're in a very relaxed, gentle state, and moments can start coming up. So this is what I want to say. If there's anything coming up for you and you're thinking or feeling, oh no, I'm going backwards, you're not. You're just in such a relaxed space that you're allowing, in a relaxed state, solutions to come up, answers, if you like. And what happened for me was, because I've been resting my ankle and really, really listening to my body, I've had quite a lot of stillness time. And it just came out of nowhere the other day. And my instant thought was, oh no, why is that coming up? And then it was like, oh, it's an aha moment. And it was about accepting success, because when we break the agreements of fitting in, when we break the agreements of pleasing everybody else, when we break the agreements of changing our personalities to be accepted, when we take the masks off, we stop acting a role and we're actually our authentic selves, this is when we can start to allow success. And success can mean so many different things for different people. I'm talking about what success feels for you. What it feels for me may be completely different from what it feels for you. I'm just talking about success in general. Obviously, if we were working one-to-one, I would go through and we feel into how success feels for you. So I'm not going to go into success is this, this, and this, and this, because it's so different for all of us. It's so different. For me, success is living our authentic lives and leading with love and making decisions from the heart and allowing myself to be human, and allowing, and this is huge, is allowing imperfectionism. Which is why it's been so interesting for me recording like this instead of underneath the tree, because my ankle still needs rest. And there's that little, well, you did say you were going to be back under the tree this week. That's there. So it's, for me, success is accepting ourselves for exactly who we are, where we are, and how we are. And that can sound so much easier than it actually is. So this is why I was really feeling into, okay, so we've got the ashes, if you like, after the eclipse season, where we went through so much of what wasn't working for us anymore. Finally, little remnants going, actually, no, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. And then it's allowing those ashes to settle before we burst up as a phoenix. It's making sure there's no embers there, if you like. There's no embers. They've completely calmed down before we rise up like a phoenix. Because yes, rebirth, etc., 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 it's really important. We're just remembering who we are. So as this episode goes out on Easter week about resurrection, etc., so forth, what I'm really feeling into is, because of the fire horse year, because it's action, 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 as sensitives, as creatives, as highly intuitive empaths, it's so important that we don't charge ahead with the chariot, with the momentum of the fire horse and the chariot, before we've settled into, well, where are we at the moment? Where are we? And making a plan, if you like. So if there's something in particular that you've been working on and you've been going back to it and going back to it and then putting it away, or if there's a certain aspect of your health that you've been working on, or creativity, anything, whatever it is for you, my gorgeous, and you've been going towards that project and then you close it off, and you're feeling that as the ashes have settled, because we've all been through so much, and that energy of the fire horse, the pushing forward, I would really invite you to make a plan. And this is absolutely for me as well. Because there's a creative project I've been working on for years. And I keep feeling into, well, it's the fire horse year now. I can finally get it finished. I can finally da, 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 da. And I can feel the acceleration. I can feel the speed up. If the way you are is that you can work and you can thrive on that, wonderful. I'm talking about those of us who are highly, highly sensitive, and it's really important that we don't get pulled along. I mentioned this, I think, in the other episode, we don't get, the reins caught round our ankle and pulled along by the fire horse. We make a plan. So if you like, perhaps let's look at it this way. So we journal and we feel into, right, okay, so what is it that's really coming up for me to work with? And this is where you can put health, wealth, abundance, creativity. Health, wealth, love, creativity, however that looks for you. Because we're all going to be working on something different, I'm speaking very generally. So when there's something that we're working on, whatever that may be, so let's say it's your health, let's say it's your wealth, let's say it's your relationships, let's say it's a creative aspect. So when you know which one it is, so as I say creativity, if that goes ding, 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 that's for you. If I say health and you get a ding, that's for you. If I say wealth, you get a ding, that's for you. If I say relationships, you get a ding, that's for you. And it's allowing that ding, ding, ding to happen and then feeling into it. So rather than going, oh, yes, it's that, I have to do this. It's okay, I've recognized what area of my life I'd like to be continue working on, and then journal on that, really feel into that. And then it's getting to the seed and the bare bones, if you like, of what actually is that, what actually is underneath that. So this is where I'm talking about breaking the agreements, because we can build up agreements that keep us safe, quotation marks, that keep us safe, that can stop us from pursuing our passions, that can stop us from pursuing love relationships, that can stop us from pursuing and allowing abundance, that can stop us from being healthy, because our bodies can get into a place of feeling safe because that's what they're used to, of being, even though it may not necessarily be the best environment for you, our bodies are used to it. So it's our comfort zone. So this is gently taking us out of our comfort zone in the most gentle way possible. So when we're making changes inside, they automatically happen outside. So this is why inner work is wonderful. So it's really feeling into, how can I settle in these ashes? How can I make sure that all of those embers are out from everything that I've burnt in the eclipse season that doesn't serve me, before I start building up and rising out of those ashes? So if you like, building a new foundation. So if you have a morning routine, wonderful. If you don't, I would highly invite you to start feeling into, well, what could my morning routine look like? How could I take half an hour for myself in the morning before everybody else is up? Can I get up half an hour earlier before everybody else in the house and just have pure time for myself rather than bursting into the day? How can I really nurture myself every day? So I would invite you to feel into morning routines. If you already have one, brilliant, carry on. If you don't, feel into, well, what actually would work for me? What would really help me? Are you journaling? Is that something that works for you? And journaling doesn't have to be sat down under a tree with a pen and paper. It could just be 5 minutes on your phone. You could just go somewhere separate in the house and have the phone next to you and just speak out what's happening for you. So I would really invite you to feel into, well, what does work for me? Is it journaling? Does that help me? Is it meditation? Is it just writing? Is it singing? Is it dancing? Is it movement? What will work for you first thing in the morning that will help you create the most beautiful day? It's just so important that as we're going through these changes, as we're going, actually, no, I don't want to show up as a people pleaser. I have all of these dreams, passions burning inside me, and I've created these boundaries now. I've broken the agreement that somebody says, you've got 5 minutes and I'm there, or if somebody doesn't even ask me and I'm there. I've created such an inner boundary that people respect my space and time. And most importantly, I respect my space and time. So as I now have that space, how am I going to fill it? What am I going to fill it with? So I would invite you in the morning. What's something you could do in the morning? And then, if you can, where is a space throughout my day where I can make that completely mine? Where was I showing up for everybody else and leaving my passions and leaving my health and leaving my inner work behind so I could show up to be accepted? Where is that space? It might be 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, half an hour. I would really invite you to feel into, okay, so that space where I've made those healthy boundaries, I've broken those agreements to be there. How can I nurture that space with something that nurtures me? So instead of firing off with the firehorse phoenix energy, as we're rising out of that, we're settling into, right, well, what works for me? So once we then have those foundations of the morning routine, having that creative space or that health space, you may be doing some beautiful exercises, you may be doing breathing techniques, you may be cooking vegan food, you may be researching and reading about what's good for your body, not everybody else's, your body. What can help you towards what feels so right for you, that you've been really feeling into and knowing, and you already know what that is. How can you nurture that? How can you create a space for that every day? And as I said, I'm speaking so generally because there are so many aspects. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take an aspect of what's going to work for me, for example. So there's a creative project that I'm working on that I've been putting back and forth for years and years and years. I have the whole thing. I can see it. I can visualize it. I can see it. And whenever I've gone on to work on it, something else has happened. And so it's been put a little bit back on the back burner, which is quite ironic for the fire horse year. So in the year of the wood snake, we were invited to peel layers off of what doesn't work for us. And I mentioned this in the last episode as well. So our skin can feel a little bit sensitive as we've come into this year, into that eclipse season. And then we finally got rid of those remnants. So it's now, how can I create that space for myself? I'm a fire dragon. I'm a projector in human design. I'm a Leo. So there's a lot of fire about me. There's also, with being the projector in human design and my authority is an emotional authority, I have to really, really, really feel it. And it's so important for me to sleep on it, to feel it rather than to burst in, which is what I have done so many times before with so many situations and experiences throughout my life. Instead of feeling into it, I've just felt an impulse and gone. So I know the way I work is if something feels really, really strongly for me, I ask my body now, how does that feel in my body? Does it make my heart race a little bit? Does it bring my shoulders up? Am I ready to make this decision in this state that I'm in at the moment? Or would it feel better that I sleep on it and then feel into it again the next morning? That's how I work. So the wood snake for me was I lost my baby girl who was with me for 17 years, my beautiful feline guide, best friend, who is now guiding me from the Rainbow Bridge. So what I had to allow myself and what my body was craving for was kindness and compassion and rest. And as I started speeding up at the beginning of this year, jumping into things because I was in that momentum, my body said, we need you to work on some old wounds, please. And throughout my life, I had various moments where I tore the ligaments in my ankles. I woke up 3 weeks in a few days, went to bed absolutely fine, woke up and I couldn't step on my left ankle. So my body just stopped me. So what I'm feeling into is to avoid burnout, to avoid my body having to stop me. How can I set that up for myself that isn't pressure, that is enjoyment and feeling into that moment? And what really works for me is morning routine, is journaling, because it tends to turn into rhyming couplets and poetry, which I love, and planning my day so that at some point in my day, usually the morning, I can just write or I can feel into something. And what inner work can I work with in the morning? I'm working with something very beautiful from one of my spiritual mentors, Kristos Perry. I'm in a 40-day process at the moment. Today is day 28 as I'm recording this. So that's really, really working for me. And then it's also allowing that to settle. So what I would say as well, and again, this is for me, is when we're working on anything, we do it gently. So we don't want to put so much energy out there that it can burn us out, because when we're working spiritually and on the emotional level, our body needs to catch up. So it's really important. She says this with her ankle up in the air with an ankle support on. So it's really, really important that we lay those foundations from the ashes. So we lay those foundations. And what works for me? So what does work for you? So what would your morning routine look like? Is there Is there any space that you could have in your day, in the morning and the evening, where you can just have half an hour on your own? Are you able to sit and just journal, or are you able to just sit and speak into the phone? Or are you able to just sit in absolute silence and just listen to beautiful music and feel into your body and meditate on your own? Or do you work better with a guided meditation? What works for you, my lovely? Because what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. So it's feeling it's okay, well, what works for me? So I love visualizations. This is why I record them. I love visualizations. I love going to different dimensions. I love different worlds. Also, it's really important that we stay grounded, that we stay on this planet that we chose to come to. Because with the eclipse season, it was so easy for us to fly off because there was so much going on. In fact, there was one point, and it happened a few days ago as well, I thought I was about to leave my body just when I was sat at the table with my family. I could feel this lift going up. So, we're definitely all feeling the ascension, and it's really important that we allow ourselves the changes, because there's naturally going to be changes as we're changing the work that we do on the inside with the inner work, as we change the way we are speaking to ourselves, as we change the way we're caring for ourselves, as we change the way that we're putting ourselves first. Our vibrations are rising, and there's beautiful changes that are happening around us that align with who we truly are. And it's allowing those ashes of the old self to fully fade. That old self who we created from survival, who we created to fit in, who isn't actually who we truly are. And as we say with gratitude, and it's so important we say with gratitude, thank you for the experiences. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for holding me in this body. And thank you for being there in such a way that has got me to this point. We're safe. I've got this now. We don't need to jump or rush into anything and make our nervous system go through the roof. We do everything with gentleness and ease. And that is the key. It's with ease. If anything is happening easily, and there's so many synchronicities happening easily, that is your path, my lovely. If there's certain elements that are just not happening, every time you try something, every time you push something, just step back a little bit and see, when you release it, does it sort itself out and align for you, or does it go completely away? And perhaps that's something that's either not for now or not at all. So it's really feeling into, well, actually, what does work for me? Not for everybody else. It's remembering that you are unique. We're all unique. And what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. What works for another person doesn't necessarily work for another person. So if somebody is giving you advice, my lovely, and you have asked for it, or if they're giving you unsolicited advice, then listen with a filter. Because sometimes if we hear somebody, and I'm saying this with me as well, this may not resonate with you, this may resonate with you. So it's feeling into, well, okay, well, they said this, they said that. Listen to everything through a filter. If anything that comes up resonates with you, take that away to a space on your own and feel into it. Don't necessarily take action on that yet, just feel into, okay, well, I've never journaled. How would that feel for me? Okay, well, I've never spoken out loud into my phone. That feels a bit weird. Everything that you do that is new is going to feel a little bit weird because it's not something that you're used to. It's highly likely that now you have these boundaries and you've got this space. It's like, well, what do I fill them with then? So it's finding out, well, what nurtures you? It's not one size fits all. And that is fundamental as we are accepting ourselves, is knowing that what works for somebody else doesn't necessarily work for us. So it's feeling into, okay, so I'm avoiding burnout after the ashes of the eclipse. So first of all, Where am I at the moment? What stage am I in? Am I still letting aspects burn away? Or have those aspects burnt away and I've got just the ashes now, the cool ashes? So once you know where you are, then it's feeling into, right, okay, well, I'm going to allow that to complete and settle. And then once that is settled, so once you have the cool ashes, then we can start feeling into, okay, now I have this space, what's going to work for me? Because one of the elements that's so important, and I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, is doing so much spiritual work that you can burn yourself out completely because your body's not used to it. So if you've never done any kind of spiritual ritual work, go at your own pace, my lovely. So I would say just do 5 minutes a day and then build that up. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you already have a morning routine, expand that a little bit more and do it really gently. How can you expand what your morning routine already is? And if you don't have a morning routine, how can you gently start your morning routine so it doesn't burn you out? It's just gently, gently, gently. Yeah, so it's really feeling into that space. What can we fill that space with? And is there anything you're curious about? And how to keep that curiosity there and to keep that excitement and energy there and allowing that to be integrated into who you truly are. As we break those agreements of people pleasing, fight, flight, freeze, people pleasing, turning up, showing up, doing everything for everybody else and not ourselves. As we've broken the agreement, actually, I put myself first. It's really important that with those settled ashes, when they're nice and cool, we go, okay, well, what does work for me? What have I already got in place that works? How can I expand on that? Rather than lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of new things. So if you already have a morning routine, how could you expand on that? If you don't have a morning routine and you're thinking, oh my God, I haven't got time for this, 5 minutes. Just allow yourself 5 minutes to start with the first week. Every day, just 5 minutes where your phone's off, you're completely on your own. You do some research and feel, well, actually, what lights me up? So we're making sure that we're going gently and we're not burning out. We're not throwing everything into it to then burn ourselves out. It's allowing it to work. It's allowing the success. So it's breaking agreements and allowing the success of being you, my gorgeous. You've broken those agreements and now you're allowing the success to whatever you're working on. So it's allowing yourself that beautiful space and treating yourself like a best friend. How would you treat your best friend? You wouldn't push your best friend out of bed and shove them into the day and say you've got to do this, 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 and this. You probably say to them, what feels right for you? How would you like to get up? What foods would nourish you today? Can I bring you breakfast in bed? So treat yourself like your best friend rather than being, a strict dictator to yourself. Stop dictating to yourself and then listen to yourself. What feels right for you? Allow yourself some space and time with that morning routine. So give yourself 5 minutes here, give yourself 5 minutes there, and then build that up. What music works for you in a creative environment? What music works for you when you're working with abundance and you're working on allowing money into your life? I feel that's enough for now. And then in the next episode, I'm going to be feeling into that a little bit more because I'm sat here with my ankle up as a support, not under the tree. And I was really, really feeling into earlier. I was like, right, I'll record now. The phone wouldn't work. It kept saying, failed to start recording, failed to start recording, failed to start recording. And then I thought, oh, haven't had my breakfast yet. No. Haven't done this yet. No. I haven't done that for myself yet. No. So it's really easy to go into that pattern because I was feeling all of the messages coming through. I record now. And that's something for me to feel into, and this may resonate with you as well. instead of jumping in, I allowed the timing to be right. So I had my breakfast, sat back down again, listened to some beautiful music, and then I pressed record, and it didn't work again. So, and as I'm saying this, there's a dragonfly outside the window. How gorgeous. And then as I realised, okay, well, it's obviously not the right time. It's not letting me record, so I'll just finish listening to this beautiful piece of music. I will finish brushing my hair. I will finish my chicory coffee, and then we'll see where we are, rather than pushing it. So I've allowed this episode to happen how it feels to happen, because in that push mode, there is no way that everything that has come up would have come out. Yeah, so that really showed me this morning that it's so important just to check in with ourselves. Had I done my morning routine? Had I actually eaten something? Had I looked after myself before I was going to share with everybody about how they can look after themselves? It was shown to me viscerally, and the fact that the recording was just saying, not ready to record, everything around me, the technology wasn't working. That helped me to go, well, it wasn't the right time. That's fine. I'll do some more nurturing for myself, and then it will feel natural when it comes out. It will feel naturally the right moment. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. And this will be going out Easter weekend. So wishing you a beautiful Easter, however you celebrate. So much love. You've got this. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Accepting. Please do stay tuned for future episodes, and also subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.